Puja Mataji, would you like to do it again today, please?
Ji Mataji, I can try.
Yes.
Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjalaşalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utpada Kamla Shri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam सहगना रघुनाथां तं सजीवं साधुवैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादा सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितं च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा जय श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा वासुदि गौर भक्त वृंदा नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण कृष्णाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनी नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे देवशेषा शून्यवादी पाशता देशतारिणे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 रामा राम रामा हरे हरे
मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य ईश्वरं हरे कृष्ण. Thank you, Mataji. That is very wonderful. It's mind-blowing how you have memorized that so quickly, so clearly you're pronouncing words. Very amazing, very sincere. You're a very, very sincere soul.
Thank you,
Completely,
Mataji.
completely mind blown by this.
Thank you, Mataji.
Anybody else would like to try next time to say Mangalacharan without looking?
I can try Mataji next time.
Yes, Mataji, please try. And any words that you don't know the meaning or any words that are not clear, please let me know.
Yes.
Very good. Very nice. Okay. Yeah, we can take turns every time somebody new can recite. Your sincerity, your seriousness in these practices, in these efforts, it's very, very much appreciated. Not so much by me, but by Krishna. So, so please continue these efforts. Let's start. So we have to start from 2.58. So 2.57, if you remember, we stopped where Krishna. So Krishna is right now discussing a concept called a sage of steady intelligence, who is a sober person or a sage of fixed mind, fixed intelligence, a self-realized soul. So that is called sthit pragya. Okay. So Arjuna asked Krishna, what are the symptoms of a sthit pragya? How does he sit? How does he walk? How does he eat? Okay. Ka bhasha. Ka bhasha means what are his symptoms? And then he says, how does he eat? How does he walk? And how does he sit? So we discussed that eating, walking, sitting doesn't necessarily mean that. It's not what he's eating is he's asking Krishna. He's basically asking how does he engage in this world? How much he consumes or takes from this world, and what does he not take from this world? How does he sit? Means how does he get stays situated in this world? How does he keep himself in this world so that he's not disturbed by it, he's not distracted by it, and yet stay fixed? How does he stay fixed in this world? Just a situate word se aata hai sit. Okay, so sit means how is he situated in this world. Okay, and then he says how does he walk, meaning what kind of actions he performs in this world, what kind of desires he have, what kind of conduct he has. So walking doesn't mean uski chaal kaisi hai, but it basically means how's his conduct, how are his actions, how much does he eat or interact in this world, and how does he stay fixed in this world, situate himself in this world without getting distracted or disturbed. So what are the symptoms of a sober person, a sage of steady mind, steady intelligence, fixed person, somebody who's fixed in Krishna consciousness? What does their life, what does their conduct look like? So this is what Arjuna asked. Now Krishna is answering that, and he has already said so far. So far, he has said that such a person gives up the sense desires arising from mental concoction. So we discussed that a lot of our desires arise from mental concoction. Our mind creates these desires to enjoy in this world, and those are called sense desires arising from mental concoction. It's all in the mind. Okay. So a sober person knows to be free from such desires that are arising from that are mentally concocted. Then Krishna said he is not disturbed in dukkha or sukha. Dukkheshva anudvigna mana, sukheshu vigatspriha. So that is what Krishna said. He's not disturbed in dukkha or sukha. Then he said he's free from fear, attachment, and anger. Okay, if you're counting, this is the third symptom. He's free from fear, attachment, and anger. Vitta, rag, bhaya, krodha. So he's vitta, meaning free from rag, which is attachment, bhaya, which is fear, and krodha, which is anger. He's free from rag, bhaya, and krodha, fear, attachment, and anger. Then Krishna said he's not affected by shubh or ashubh. Shubh or ashubh, meaning auspicious or inauspicious, that is the nature of this world. There will always be shubh and ashubh. They will come in waves in this world. There will always be ups and downs in this world. They will come in a cycle, okay, ups and downs. So he's not affected by them. He na abhinandanti na dveshti. Neither he invites them nor he despises them. So it's not like he is aloof from them, but it doesn't mean that he's inviting troubles either. He's not inviting anything inauspicious either. Like in some cultures, in some traditions, people actually take on some inauspicious things on themselves. That is not the mood of a devotee either. It's not like he's welcoming inauspicious things in his life. Na abhinandanti na dveshti. He's neither despising them, inauspicious or auspicious things, and neither inviting them. Whatever happens in the course of his life, he's just taking it as a part of living in this world. He's taking it as a part of material existence. Okay. Na abhinandanti, na dveshti. For shubh and ashubh, he treats them equal. Okay. So such a person, Krishna keeps saying the same thing, tasya pragya pratishtita. That person is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. Tasya pragya pratishtita. He's not affected or agitated by all these things. Now let's go to next verse, next symptom of asthit pragya purush. Let's recite and please follow me. Yada samharte chayam, yada samharte
Bharate chayam
कूर्मो अङ्गानिव सर्वशा कूर्मो
anganiva var sarvasa
इन्द्रियाणि इन्द्रियार्थेभ्यस्
indriyani indriyabhestas
तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता तस्य
tasya
प्रज्ञा
pragya pratisthita.
Okay. Can somebody read the translation?
Yes, Mataji, I can. One who is able to withdraw his senses from sense objects as the tortoise draw its limbs within the cell is firmly fixed in perfect consciousness.
Very good. Mataji, you can read. Let's discuss the Sanskrit very quick. So here Krishna is giving an analogy. Okay, he's giving analogy of a kurma. Kurmo anga niva sarvasha. So an analogy of a tortoise. Okay, analogy means something that fits our logic, something that we understand to be true through our logical understanding in this world, and that particular logical understanding is used to explain a difficult philosophical point of the wisdom or of the scriptures. Okay, so when a difficult philosophy or when some kind of philosophical point, some kind of lesson is explained through a common logical point, that is called an analogy. Okay. So here the analogy of kurma or tortoise is used. So Krishna is saying, yada, meaning jaise, samharte chayam. kurmo. Just like a kurma or a tortoise winds up his anga, his organs, his limbs within his body. You might have seen that a tortoise can withdraw his limbs, his extremities, his front limbs and hind limbs into his body, into his shell. He can withdraw, right? So just like a tortoise can withdraw his limbs into his body, similarly, indriyani indriyarthebhyas. So indriya arthebhya refers to vishaya. We just discussed that Vishaya refers to sense objects. Similarly, Indriya Artha also refers to sense objects. Okay. So similarly, a sober person will withdraw their senses, their indriyani, their senses from the sense objects. And that person is called to be a sober person. Tasya pragya pratishtita. So Krishna keeps using this same last line. Tasya pragya pratishtita. That means he's pratishthit hai. He's fixed. He's very well established. He's very nicely, firmly situated in pragya, in intelligence, in Krishna consciousness, in divine consciousness. So such a person who can withdraw his senses from sense objects, just like a tortoise withdraws his limbs, is called a person of sober intelligence. Now, for people that joined in the beginning, can you name some sense objects to me? How many sense objects are there in the list of material elements? And can somebody name them?
The eyes first.
Sense objects.
Oh, okay.
So what were
Smell,
you describing? What are they called? That you were
sight, right, Mataji? Or smell, taste, and sparsh, which is and
Okay, so what you were describing initially, eyes. I'm gonna
yeah,
see if I can write on this. So what you were describing, what is eyes called?
netra.
Nini, what are they? Are
Eyes.
they sense objects? Are they gross? Are they Panch Mahabhuta? Are they sense organs, senses? What are they?
Mataji, sense organ, right?
They are senses or sense organs, right? So what
Yes.
are, how many sense organs or senses are there? Right.
Touch, smell,
Very answered. Fine.
sight.
So you're confusing. That's why I'm writing, because
Okay.
when you say smell, smell is not a sense organ.
Yeah, nose is a smell organ, but the smell is that sense gratification, right, Mataji?
So I want you to know the exact words. Okay, by this time we need to know exact words now. So let's see what are the senses or sense organs. So eyes are sense organs, no doubt about it. Sense organs or senses, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Ears is one.
Yes, hearing. Yes.
Okay. नहीं, hearing नहीं बोलना.
Okay, okay.
Ears is we are talking about senses or sense organ, right? Ear is a sense organ. What? Nose is a sense organ.
Yes, Mataji.
Tongue, and which one am I remaining? Which one is left?
Skin. Skin.
Right. So I want you to know the exact, as a student of Bhagavad Gita, and you are all grown up, so you have to have like nice understanding, nice vocabulary and correct words that we are using. So these are senses. Okay, these are 5 senses or 5 sense organs. More precisely, what type of senses or sense organs are these? Our previous students can tell this, Rekha Mataji or Ravi Prabhu.
Gyanendriya Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. These are Gyan Indriya, also known as in English, knowledge acquiring senses. Okay? Knowledge acquiring senses. Sorry, this chicken scratch. So knowledge acquiring senses. There are 5 main senses that are Gyan Indriyas or knowledge acquiring senses. Please start fitting this in your vocabulary. And then there are, what we are talking about is sense objects. Okay? So now differentiate, what is the sense object for eyes? What do you think is the sense object for eye? What will eyes see? Eyes will see a, what do you think eyes will see? You can. What are the
Roop
vision?
Mataji, Roop.
So a form, right?
A
Or
form. Yes.
in Hindi we can say roop. Okay? And I'm gonna ask, let's say, different people. So Namita Mataji, what will tongue? What will be the sense object for tongue?
Taste prasadam.
Taste. Okay. Prasad or non-prasad. Sense object for tongue will be taste. So what will you call this in Hindi? Ras. Okay, ras. Ras is, I don't know if you can read Devanagari. I wrote in spontaneously. I wrote in Devanagari. So taste is ras. Okay, sense object. What is, okay? Let's ask Rekha Mataji. What will be the sense object for nose?
सुगंध.
सू भी हो सकती है, दुर्गंध भी हो सकती है.
हाँ, सुगंध या दुर्गंध.
So gandh. So you're perfect. Yes.
गंध.
Gandh. सू या दू लगे वो फिर हमारे ऊपर, राइट? सो नोज इज, नोज का क्या हो गया? सेंस ऑब्जेक्ट स्मेल, सम टाइप ऑफ स्मेल. Ears, what will be the, what are, so basically sense object is vishaya, is what is the object with which a sense organ is engaging, with which the sense is engaging. Eyes are engaging with the form, with the roof. Tongue are engaging with the ras or with the taste. Nose is engaging with the smell. Ears, what will ears engage with? What do ears need to take delight, to enjoy this world? What will ears need?
Here.
What will,
Hearing.
Here,
और
Mataji.
हिंदी.
so hearing तो एक function हो गया ना ears का.
Shravan.
So
श्रवण.
sound. Yeah. So sound, right? So which will
Sound.
mean, yeah, hearing is right, but sound. So shabd. Okay. Shabd means the sound. The sound is actually the first material element that comes in that is created in this world. So sound. Okay. Skin. What will skin need?
Touch.
Touch. So skin.
स्पर्श.
Sparsh. Yes. Sparsh. Okay. So please remember, these are called sense objects in Hindi or in Sanskrit. They are called Vishaya. Vishaya. Okay. Vishaya means Vishay or subject matter or object for the senses to enjoy or to despise. So eyes will engage with the roop in this world. Tongue will engage with the taste or rasa. So there are 24 material elements. Bhagavad Gita will describe 24 material elements. Okay. Out of that, you already know now 10. 5 are the karmendriya or knowledge acquiring senses, and 5 are the vishaya or sense objects. So we know out of 24, we already know 10 material elements that make up this world. So I'll go back to the verse. So the verse is saying that an intelligent person will withdraw senses from sense objects or sense organs from Vishaya, Indriya from Indriyartha, just like a tortoise will draw his limbs whenever there is whenever some danger or something comes, right? A tortoise withdraws his limbs. Similarly, intelligent person withdraws his senses from sense objects. Let's read the purport. It's small. Komal Mataji, you can continue, please, the whole thing.
Yes, Mataji. The test of yogi, devotee, or self-realized soul is that he is able to control the senses according to his plan. Most people, however, are servants of the senses and are thus directed by the direction of senses. That is the answer of the question as to how the yogi is situated. The senses are compared to venomous serpents. They want to act very loosely and without restriction. The yogi or the devotee must be very strong to control the serpents, like a snake charmer. He never allows them to act independently. There are many injections in the revealed scriptures. Some of them are do nots and some of them are do's. Unless one is able to follow the do's and the don'ts restrictly oneself from sense enjoyment, it is not possible to be firmly fixed in Krishna consciousness. The best example set here is the tortoise. The tortoise can at any moment wind up its senses and exhibit them again at any time for particular purpose. Similarly, the senses of the Krishna conscious person are used only for some particular purpose in the service of the Lord and are withdraw otherwise. Arjun is being taught here to use his senses for the service of Lord instead of for his own satisfaction. Keeping the senses always in the service of the Lord is the example set by the analogy of the tortoise who kept the senses within him.
Hmm. So I think this is very clear, this particular purport. So Prabhupada is using another analogy here. Senses are compared to venomous serpents. I will elaborate on this particular sentence in the next verse. This is a very common analogy given. So we'll understand this in the next verse, okay, which is Vishaya Vinivartante, that we just remembered. So, so Prabhupada is saying people are generally servant of the senses, okay? But we have to become the master or the controller of the senses. So people are being directed by the dictation of the senses. Whatever sense object, now you can understand this language. Whatever sense object attracts them, they will start chasing them, being the slave of their senses. They see something nice to watch, they'll start going after it. They see something nice to eat or drink, the tongue demands it and they start going after it. They see something nice to touch, the skin demands it. So since they're slave of their senses, they will start going after it. Something nice to hear, the ear demands it. Ear demands that nice sound. Ear wants to come in contact with that particular sense object and they will fulfill that demand. So people being slave or being the under regulation of their senses, their senses will agitate them. It's like a child, child will say to their mom, please give me this toy, I want this toy, I want this toy. Similarly, our eyes will start agitating us, I want to watch this, I want to watch this. Our tongue will start agitating us, I want to eat this, I want to taste this. And so we, the soul, being the servant of those senses, feels obliged to pacify them by fulfilling their demand. And so we are the slaves of these senses. But by withdrawing our senses, so you try to discipline them, you can become master. You try to train your senses, you can become master or controller of the senses, like a snake charmer, because Prabhupada is saying these are like venomous serpents. So like a snake charmer, you should be able to control them just like a snake charmer controls the snake. Do not allow them to act independently. Now here, I want to share one more very important understanding from Bhagavad Gita and from our Upanishads. Let's see who remembers this, because I think it is expected if somebody is reading Bhagavad Gita, they know these things. So that's why I really want everybody to know. Who can tell me what do they understand when I say the chariot example? When I say chariot, this is the one thing that should come to everybody's mind who's a student of Bhagavad Gita. What does chariot example mean to you?
Body.
It is a chariot refers to the body, right? Very nice. So can you or anybody else elaborate a little bit more?
Yeah, it is the temple of the soul. So it is carrying the soul within. The soul is trapped within the body. So it acts as a chariot to carry it forward or to perform all the duties in this world.
Okay, sure. Let's see if somebody else, what else comes to mind other than our previous students. Let's see. Maybe Hiral Mataji or Namita Mataji, Rekha Mataji, anybody wants to say? What comes to you when we say chariot example? If you are listening, please say that you are and give me some hint of what this means.
Mataji, may I?
Prabhuji, I want to hear from, I know you know.
Okay.
Hiral Mataji, yes. So Ravi Prabhu का तो मुझे पता है. Prabhuji knows the concepts of Bhagavad Gita in and out. But I'm trying to make sure everybody else does.
जी क्वेश्चन मुझे समझ में नहीं आया.
Mataji, what does it mean when I say chariot example?
Is it because it involves all the five senses, Mataji? जैसे chariot, the body is a chariot with the five senses, horse pulling it.
Hmm.
Mind is the reins that controls,
Yeah,
and
very bold, very
Atma
nice.
is the passenger.
Okay, so go slow. So you're saying there is a chariot. You're saying there is a chariot which is being pulled by 5 horses. Let's imagine for now these are 5 horses. Okay. So each horse represents a senses. We just discussed, right? We just discussed
Right.
5 senses. So let's say these are our senses or sense organs. Chariot में क्या होता है? Each horse has a rein. Everybody knows उसकी एक लगाम होती है ना, घोड़े की लगाम
Right.
और
Yes.
लगाम. And this is the chariot. So these horses are drawing the chariot. Okay, now tell me. So you are saying
The
these
mind
horses.
is the rein which is doing each of our senses. Like mind controls our senses.
So you're saying the reins are the mind. Very nice. Oh, I'm sorry for wrong spelling. Rein is the mind. And then, so
And
these are this is the mind, right? I'll just write something here. This is the mind. And then there are 2 people. One is a driver and one is a passenger. What does driver mean? What does
the
passenger?
driver will be the intelligence.
Driver will be the intelligence. Very nice. Perfect. And passenger is the
Atma.
soul. Perfect.
So
Hari Bol. 3 times Hari Bol for Mataji. Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Haribol, Haribol.
So with this,
Hari Bol.
so this is called
Hari Bol.
chariot example. Okay, this comes in Upanishads, and this is a very beautiful, very important example. I had to draw this out from all of you because it's very important that we know this example. This is called the hierarchy of control in our body. Okay, so our body, which is the passenger within this body, just like Puja Mataji said, our body is like in a car. There is a driver. So we are the soul is sitting within this vehicle of the body. Now within this vehicle, let's imagine this is a chariot. Within this vehicle, these are the parts of that vehicle. There are sense organs, which are the horses that are driving the body. There is mind, which is controlling the senses, and there is a driver, which is the intelligence or driver controls the reins, right? Driver के हाथ में लगाम है ना, सारी लगाम जो है mind की लगाम, mind जिसको हम बोल रहे हैं, that लगाम, that reins of the horses are in the hands of the driver, and passenger is just sitting there. Okay, so now let's see this. It goes like this. So this is called the proper hierarchy of control. If you want the soul to reach the correct destination, the hierarchy should go like this. The intelligence, okay, your intelligence should control your mind, and your mind should control your senses. Okay, then this body can function properly. And who should control intelligence? Soul. So who is the soul? Soul is the passenger within this vehicle. Intelligence is the driver of this vehicle. It will go wherever passenger wants to go. So passenger needs to decide where to go. It will tell the driver. Then driver will control the reins of the horses, and senses are the horses. Okay. So first we are understanding how to control our senses. Okay. Now, in purport, Prabhupada is saying, okay, so is this chariot example clear to everyone? It should be fixed. And next time when we ask, everybody should be able to mention that in the chariot example, horses are the senses, reins are the mind, driver of that chariot is the intelligence, and soul is the passenger within that vehicle. And this vehicle is the chariot example. Okay. And this is called the hierarchy of proper control. Okay. Is everybody clear? If any doubts, please ask now.
That means reins are the senses.
No, reins are the mind. See, reins.
Reins are the mind.
Reins are in the hand of the driver. Okay.
But you
So
said mind is driver.
no, I said intelligence is the driver.
Intelligence is.
Is that clear?
Yes.
Intelligence drives us. So how can you make your intelligence more acute? How can you sharpen your intelligence? Is it possible to sharpen our intelligence to make our intelligence more acute, more fixed?
Mataji,
yes,
I think
Mataji.
of one thing.
Hmm.
Just like, if we'll do what is written in the Shastras, or if we just follow that, we know that how to do.
Yes, so through scriptures, just like right
Yes.
now, what we are doing is called sharpening our intelligence. We understand what is right and wrong, okay, through association of devotees, through learning, hearing from them, and through reading, basically through scriptures, okay, through scriptures, however you get it, either by reading books, by hearing, or by जैसे भी आपको मिल रहे हैं scriptures, you're getting knowledge from scriptures, and you, so through knowledge you're sharpening your intelligence. You know what is right, what is wrong, okay. This is called sharpening the intelligence. If you sharpen your intelligence, then you will be able to control your mind, okay. Right now people are going this way, their senses are controlling their mind, and their mind is controlling the intelligence, okay. It's going in reverse order. This should not happen. We should go in this direction, not in this direction. Is that clear? We should not go in, we should go in this direction. Intelligence should control mind, mind should control senses. But what is happening with people is that senses are controlling the mind. Senses, like my tongue wants something to eat, so my mind and senses will become agitated, and they will overpower my intelligence. My intelligence will forget that gulab jamun is not good for it because I have diabetes,
Ma
and it eat
Ma
the jamun.
yes, yes. Mataji, I have a question. Yes, please, you go ahead. First you finish, then I
So
will
that's what I
say.
was saying, that we are going in opposite direction because our senses are uncontrolled. They overpower the mind, and mind overpowers the intelligence. So you should really make your intelligence very, very sharp, make your mind also very stable. Then they will be able to control the senses. So sthit pragya, or sober person, has their intelligence, these two aspects, intelligence and mind, very much fixed. That is why we say sthit dhir muni or sthit pragya, who's fixed in their intelligence and mind. Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Mataji, so who's the charioteer?
Charioteer, जो chariot driver है, that is the intelligence, right? Charioteer means chariot driver is intelligence. Like in Arjuna and Krishna's case, Krishna is the chariot driver, right? So charioteer means chariot driver, which is the intelligence.
Oh, okay.
Okay? जैसे कि आप सोचो कि आप गाड़ी में जा रहे हो, कोई ड्राइवर आपको ड्राइव कर रहा है, some driver is driving your car. They're going to drive according to your instruction, right? You want to go to temple, that's where driver will take you, right? That
Right.
drives the intelligence. You are the passenger, you decide where to go. Driver will act according to your desire, okay, and then the car will go, okay. So
Thank you,
chariot
Mataji.
example में horses and reins भी आते हैं बीच में, which is mind and senses. So horses are
Yeah.
sense, reins are the mind. So ये clear हो गया कि intelligence we can sharpen with scriptures. Then it is also recommended to control your mind with something. How can you also simultaneously control your mind? So you're getting knowledge from scripture so that your intelligence become acute. But how can you control your mind?
By chanting.
By chanting. Yes, very bold. By chanting, by you can control, you can fix your mind. And so in this way, if you make your intelligence and mind very fixed, very stable, very sharp, then your senses will not be able to agitate you. But also we should work on the senses at the same time. So this is what Prabhupada is giving in this verse and next few verses. That's why I wanted to discuss this, because next few verses will become very smooth. How can you also control your senses?
Using them as just for the Krishna consciousness.
Yes, service. So use them in service of Krishna. So already use them for higher purpose, for higher taste. Okay. So Krishna is saying, it's in the next verse he will say about Vishya Vinivartante, use them for higher taste. Okay. So when you are eating, just decide I'm going to eat prasadam. When you're watching something, I'm going to watch DT Darshan, or I'm going to watch some Krishna conscious things. If you are hearing, I'm going to hear kirtan, right? Or classes. Like that, you try to control your senses by engaging them by giving them higher engagement, higher purpose to absorb them in. So so then if your intelligence is acute, mind is fixed, okay, senses become absorbed in service, then the body goes in the right direction as the soul desires, and soul wants to go back to Godhead, then this whole chariot will go back to Godhead. Okay, let's go back to our verse. So this is what Prabhupada was saying And then in the middle, Prabhupada was also saying that follow some do's and don'ts. So do's and don'ts means follow the regulative principles. Okay, so this is another way to control your senses, regulative principles. By discipline, you follow that, I'm not going to eat meat, fish, eggs, or I'm not going to engage in any intoxication or any extramarital affairs, or like that. So you basically control your senses like that also. So these are called do's and don'ts. Do's means rules, things that we should do, like we should do chanting, we should read scriptures and meet with devotees and things like that. Those are do's or rules. They are called niyam. And don'ts mean things that we should not do, like nishedh, things that are avoided. Okay, so एक word होता है rules and regulations, एक word होता है do's and don'ts, और एक word होता है vidhi and nishedh. Nishedh means don't, this thing should be avoided, and do's होता है vidhi, that we should follow. Okay, so vidhi and nishedh also are some words. So in this way, in this verse, Krishna is saying that a Krishna conscious person will use his senses only for the service of the Lord and withdraw them otherwise. So keep them outside only as much as is needed for some services, for some Krishna conscious purpose, for some duties and important responsibilities and things, but otherwise withdraw them from unnecessary, mentally concocted things of this world. Okay. Now we come to this verse that we memorized. We can all recite together. Vishaya vinivartante
वर्तन्ते निराहारस्य देहिना रस्वजं रसो अप्यस्य param drishtva nivartate.
So Krishna said, withdraw your senses like a tortoise withdraws his limbs. Now he will say, what else can you do for your senses to control them? And this is a better practice than just refraining them. The better practice is to give them higher taste. So can somebody read this?
I can read, Mataji.
Yes.
Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense object remains. But seizing such engagement by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness.
So those of you who were not there in the beginning, the verse means, so Vishaya word is here. This is where we discuss Vishaya word. Before, Krishna used Indriyartha. Indriyartha means the subject with which Indriyas engage, or the object with which Indriyas engage. That is called sense object. Also another word for that is Vishaya. Vishaya vinivartante. Even though you try to restrain your senses from the sense objects of this world, you make them nir ahar. You don't give them any ahar. Ahar means any diet, any nourishment. You try to dull your senses by not giving them anything. Don't listen to anything. So your ears are completely nir ahar. You don't watch anything. You don't smell anything. You don't touch anything. You don't taste anything. Don't eat anything. So that is nir ahar. So an embodied soul may forcibly try to restrain his senses by withdrawing it from all sense objects. Okay, but rasvarajam raso apiyasya, but still their taste will remain. The taste for sense object will remain. The eyes will become very agitated as soon as they see something nice, some nice roop or form they see, they will become agitated. They would want to enjoy it. So you can try to refrain from sense objects for a long time, but whenever they come in contact with sense objects, since they still have the taste, they will become agitated unless you give them param drishtva. Param drishtva means higher taste. Give them taste for a superior thing. Give them taste for a superior engagement, so that they will never have taste for lower things at all. Okay, so nivartate means then they will completely cease from sense objects when you give them higher taste, when you give them the experience of higher purpose, higher engagement. So let's read this purport also, Prabhuji, and discuss it.
Unless one is transcendently situated, it is not possible to cease from sense enjoyment. The process of restriction from sense enjoyment by rules and regulations is something like restricting a deceased person from certain type of eatables. The patient, however, neither likes such restrictions nor loses his taste for eatables. Similarly, sense restriction by some spiritual process like Ashtanga Yoga in the matter of Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, etc. is recommended for less intelligent persons who have no better knowledge. But one who has tasted the beauty of the Supreme Lord Krishna in the course of his advancement in Krishna consciousness no longer has a taste for dead material things. Therefore, restrictions are there for less intelligent neophytes in the spiritual advancement of life. But such restrictions are only good until one actually has a taste for Krishna consciousness. When one is actually Krishna conscious, he automatically loses his taste for pale things. Very
Hmm.
good.
Very bold. So, so this is called higher taste. Okay, higher taste means engaging your senses in something better, something higher, something more taste-worthy, something more tasty. Okay, so then they will lose the taste for the lower things. Okay, so several examples come in this for this. For example, let's say somebody has taste for some very bland diet. Okay, some very tasteless food. Okay, they like just dal chawal and they're just eating that, they're just used to eating that. They have never eaten anything like let's say paneer and vada pav or a pav bhaji. They have not had any of that. They were just always, they were eating only dal chawal, let's say, and something very bland. So they think that's the best. But then one day when you give them something superior, okay, if you tell them don't eat even this, don't eat dal chawal, then they will not be able to survive. One, because it's very hard to not eat anything. And two, as soon as since they're starving, they have the taste for that. When they see that next, they would want to eat it. Okay. Now, if you give them something better to eat, let's say you say, this is not good for you. Let me give you something else. Let me give you, you give them chappan bhog of, let's say, pav bhaji, paneer, tikki, chaat masala, all these things. Huh? And then they will not ever want to eat that bland, tasteless food that they were used to eating so far, because now they've had the taste of all this higher taste. This is called higher taste. So giving somebody something better so that the lower taste goes away is called the principle of higher taste. Okay. So whenever you are trying to control your senses, Krishna is saying, by just refraining them from sense objects, by just restricting them, for example, I will not hear anything at all, then it will be hard, because senses have a tendency to do something. They have a tendency to engage with sense object. They want to, it's like lock and key. Senses do want to engage with some sense object. So you will not be able to just refrain them from a sense object. You just have to change the sense object. You have to give them a better sense object to engage with. You have to give them better thing to hear. Now you should probably give them, instead of movies or Bollywood songs, now you probably give them Hari Katha or very enchanting beautiful kirtan of the Lord, so that they slowly lose the taste for the Bollywood songs, right? So that's that will be the one way to control your senses, or to make them lose the taste for previous inferior things by giving them something higher to taste. जैसे कि किसी को, somebody is just used to used to drinking neem juice, and then one day you introduce them to mango lassi, mango shake. So now, once he tastes mango shake, he will never go back to neem juice again, because he will realize, oh my God, that was so bitter, and that was so, it was so hard to swallow it. Why was I drinking it all my life? Because I did not know better. I did not know that there were better things than this. So I was just drinking that. But now I have something else which is not only nourishing, but actually it's tasty. It gives me deeper satisfaction. It keeps me satiated for longer, and I can get this. I can get this whenever I want. So why don't I just use mango shake now instead of neem juice? So in this way, when you give higher taste instead of just taking away the sense object altogether, then it's easy to control the senses. So there are these spiritualists, these people, transcendentalists, who are following very strict uh, yogas or very strict ascetic practices, where they believe that this material world is um, completely problematic. It's a source of miseries. It's very difficult place to be. So we will completely shun this world. We will completely renounce this world. Okay, we will not engage with this world at all. So they stop eating, they stop listening, they stop touching, they stop seeing anything. Aankh pe patti, muh band, kaan band. So many strict practices they follow. They just don't want to engage with this world at all. But actually, what Krishna is recommending is that path is very hard to follow. It's not sustainable. and it's not needed. You should rather engage yourself in something higher. Something higher means something divine, something that is not of this material world, but something that is of the absolute platform. Instead of stop eating altogether, why not just restrict your tongue, your stomach, by just eating Hari Prasad, by just eating Prasad? You just make, offer the food to the Lord, make the bhoga, and then taste it. So that way you are not only not putting anything material in your body, you're putting something divine, prasad of the Lord, which will be auspicious for you, which will purify your body and also nourish your body. So it will be nourishing also. You'll be able to function in this world also. So we are not of a, in this tradition we don't restrict our senses artificially. Rather we just switch the sense object to something that is divine, something that is related to Krishna, something that is on a superior platform. And we get, you get pious credits, you get eternal credits by engaging with something divine through your senses, and your taste for inferior material things of this world also goes away. So that's the principle of higher taste. If you're okay, we'll keep going. Maybe one or two more, because they're of the same principle. Let's do one more. Yatato hi api kaunteya. Yatato hi api kaunteya. Tasya vipaschita. Purushasya vipaschita.
Vipaschita.
Indriyani pramathini.
Indriyani pramathini.
Haranti prasabham mana.
Haranti prasabham manaha.
Anyone wants to read this? Yes.
The senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them.
So, Mataji, you can read it up to here, before the verse.
There are many learned sages, philosophers, and transcendentalists who try to conquer the senses. But in spite of their endeavors, even the greatest of them sometimes fall victim to material sense enjoyment due to the agitated mind. Even Vishwamitra, a great sage and perfect yogi, was misled by Menka into sex enjoyment, although the yogi was endeavoring for sense control with severe types of penance and yoga practice. And of course, there are so many similar instances in the history of the world. Therefore, it is very difficult to control the mind and senses without being fully Krishna conscious. Without engaging the mind in Krishna, one cannot see such material engagements.
Okay. Let's just pause for a minute. So the verse is saying that senses are very strong and impetuous. So I compared it to a child before, a very spoiled child who wants a toy. So senses are like that, very strong and very impetuous. And even though according to that chariot example, we said if our intelligence is strong, we can control the senses. But Krishna is saying, still, the senses can forcibly carry away the mind even of a man of discrimination who's endeavoring to control them. So even if your mind and intelligence is fixed, sometimes senses are very agitating, very strong. They're difficult to pacify, and they will carry away the mind. They will convince the mind. Like a child may convince the mother that I really want that toy. He may emotionally blackmail or something. He'll convince the mother, and then mother will convince the father. So mother is like mind and father is like intelligence. Mother will convince the father that we should get this toy, it's okay. He will stop crying if we do this. So in this way, the intelligence and mind will give in to the child's demand, or to the senses demand, um, and uh, um, and get carried away. So Prabhupada is giving similar example that even if you're a very learned person, like great yogi or something, who's trying very hard to control his senses, but when we control them artificially without, and still have the taste somewhere within, right? Somewhere within we still have the taste. When we try to artificially control them, then we fall victim to the sense enjoyment. As soon as that sense object comes in front of us, we will become victim to the senses again. So the example of Vishwamitra is given, who became a victim of Menka. And I think one time Urvashi also. So like that, Vishwamitra example is given. And somewhere later, Prabhupada gives the example of Haridas Thakur, because Haridas Thakur was chanting, he was associating with something divine the whole time. He has a higher taste. So when the beautiful Maya Devi came, a beautiful lady came in front of him to entice him, he made her wait. And he said, let me finish my rounds and I will fulfill your desires once my rounds are complete. But his rounds, his chanting took the whole night, consumed the whole night. So then that Maya Devi went away. Then she came the next night. But he said the same thing, let me complete my chanting. And she kept hearing his chanting, and his chanting was so powerful and potent that by third night, when he was not fulfilling her desires, she actually became a devotee herself. She actually became attached to the name herself by hearing the divine chanting coming from Haridas Thakur. So Haridas Thakur not only did not get swayed himself, but actually made someone else into a devotee through his pure chanting, through his complete absorption in his completely, his mind and intelligence and everything was fixed in the chanting of the holy names. So when we attach ourselves to something divine, it becomes easy to refuse the urges of the senses. But when we just artificially control them and senses still have the taste, then it's very difficult. So when the sense object comes, then we become, we give in to those senses. Last line, Mataji, can you read this last line?
Krishna consciousness is such a transcendently nice thing that automatically material enjoyment becomes distasteful. It is as if a hungry man had satisfied his hunger by a sufficient quantity of nutritious eatables. Maharaja Ambrisha also conquered a great yogi, Durvasa Muni, simply because his mind was engaged in Krishna consciousness. Sa vai mana Krishna padra vindayor vachamashi vaikunta guna
Very famous
gunanu
verse.
vandana.
Vai mana Krishna padaravindayor vachamsi vaikunta gunanu varnane. This comes in context of Ambrish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni story. Let's read one more. I really want to finish this concept because then Krishna will start something else, which is very nice. And we will memorize 2 more verses from this chapter. 62 and 63 we'll do next time. But 61, let's do one more.
Yes, may I read?
Tani sarvani samyamya.
Tani
sarvani
sarvani
samyamya.
samyamya.
Yukta asita matpara.
Yukta
asita matpara. Vashe hi yasya indriyani.
Vashe yasya indriyani.
Tasya pragya pratisthita. Tasya pragya pratisthita. Okay,
Yes,
please.
can I read now?
Yes.
One who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control, and fixes his consciousness upon me, is known as a man of steady intelligence. Purport: that the highest conception of yoga perfection is Krishna consciousness is clearly explained in this verse. And unless one is Krishna consciousness, it is not at all possible to control the senses. As cited above, the great sage Durvasa Muni picked a quarrel with Maharaja Ambrisa, and Durvasa Muni unnecessarily became angry out of pride and therefore could not check his senses. On the other hand, the king, although not as powerful a yogi as the sage, but a devotee of the Lord, silently tolerated all the sages' injustices and thereby emerged victorious.
You can skip this. This is very beautiful verses. But let's, okay, let me just summarize quickly. So this word is saying, so how can you, one is you can control the senses by withdrawing them like a tortoise. Then Krishna said a better thing to do is develop higher taste, engage them in something divine. Then Krishna said that otherwise it's very difficult even for intelligent people to control their senses. Very learned people are not able to control. Now he's saying, so somebody who can control their senses, Tani Sarvani means all those senses, Samyamya, keep them under control. Yukta, this line is important. Yukta asita matpara. Yukta asita means absorbed, like yukta, being completely engaged, absorbed in my consciousness. Asit. Asit means situated. Sit. Sit hai. कैसे sit करता है sober person? How does he sit? He is yukt asita. He is completely absorbed in my consciousness. Matpara. Matpara means my consciousness. So he is completely engaged in his service to me, in his relationship, serving in relationship to me. In this way, vashe hi yasya indriyani. His indriyas are under his control. That person is called a sober person. So in this way, who controls his senses by completely absorbed in me, matpara, okay? Then he can control his senses properly and is known as a man of steady intelligence. So Prabhupada is elaborating. He started this example in the last verse. Maharaj Ambrish and Durvasa Muni's story. This comes in Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th canto, where Durvasa Muni, even though a great sage, a sannyasi, is supposed to be a very great ascetic who practices a lot of severe, austere practices, hardly eats anything. He's supposed to eat only durva grass. So he's supposed to be very controlled in his senses, no anger, very sober person. And Maharaj Ambrish is a king who is engaged in many household affairs. He has wives, he has children, he has a lot of royal responsibilities. And Durvasa Muni became very proud and became upset at Maharaj Ambrish and tried to kill him actually. But Maharaj Ambrish stood there with folded hands, accepting Durvasa Muni's punishment. And if you know the story, Lord actually turned that he threw something. Durvasa Muni made like this dragon-like creature and fired it at Ambrish Maharaj to kill him for a very small, insignificant problem. Okay. And Ambrish, and suddenly that dragon became Sudarshan Chakra and started actually started chasing Durvasa Muni himself. And Durvasa Muni went up to Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and the Supreme Lord himself, and nobody would save him from Sudarshan Chakra. Lord said that go back to my devotee Ambrish. You have offended him, and if he wants to forgive you, then only my Sudarshan Chakra will stop. So Durvasa Muni went back and fell at the feet of Ambrish Maharaj, and then the Sudarshan Chakra left him alone. So that was just a very quick nutshell, the story of Maharaj Ambrish and Durvasa. Now, as all of you know, there are 9 limbs of devotional service. Okay, Navda Bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Pad Sevanam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam, right? Like that, there are 9 limbs of devotional service. Some of you know the verse also. There are different personalities in this world who have perfected their life by just performing one limb of devotional service. Like Shravanam was perfectly done by Parikshit Maharaj, and he perfected his life just through Shravanam. Smaranam was perfectly done by Prahlad Maharaj, and he perfected his life just through Smaranam. Okay. Dasyam was perfectly shown by Hanumanji, and he perfected his life just by Dasyam. Sakhyam was perfectly shown by Arjuna, and he just perfected his life by that. Kirtanam was perfectly done by Shukdev Goswami, and he perfected his life like that. Similarly, there are many others, Akrura through prayers, and Prithu Maharaj through deity worship, like that. But there is one personality who is known to have performed all 9 limbs of devotional service, and that is Ambrish Maharaj. Ambrish Maharaj perfected his life by performing all 9 limbs of devotional service. And remember, he was a householder, very busy professional, very busy king. And yet he was engaged in all 9 limbs of devotional service. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanevednam, Padsevanam. Everything he was engaged in. And he perfected his life through that. So when somebody is constantly engaged in devotional service in variety of ways, then their senses are very nicely engaged in the service of the Lord. That is what these verses that Prabhupada has listed, all the verses from Srimad Bhagavatam that are glorifying the services of Ambrish Maharaj. Ambrish Maharaj, kya karte the? He engaged his words in describing the Lord, his hands in cleaning the temple of the Lord, his ears in hearing the pastimes of the Lord, his eyes in seeing the form of the Lord. His body was engaged in touching the body of the devotee. His nostrils in smelling the flavor of the flowers offered to the Lord. His tongue in tasting tulsi leaves offered to the Lord. His legs in traveling to the holy places where the temples are. His head in offering obeisances to the Lord. His desires in fulfilling the desires of the Lord. Is tarike se Ambrish Maharaj was living his life. And this cannot be, nobody can surpass, nobody can overpower the senses of such a devotee. So Durvasa Muni, when came and tried to agitate him, Ambrish Maharaj did not get agitated. Ambrish Maharaj stood there silently, accepting the punishment offered by Durvasa. So this is the example that we have to follow. So not that we can follow Ambrish Maharaj, but we are also grahasthas. We are in very busy responsibilities, but we should do all these things to as much as possible. So when you are engaged in many different varieties of devotional activities, spiritual divine activities, connecting to Krishna through various means that are possible to you through eyes, ears, tongue, nose, skin, walking, through all your indriyas, then there is no way that the indriyas can go out of control. Please read the last paragraph, Mataji. Namita Mataji, or who was reading? Yes.
The word Matpara is most significant in this connection. How one can become Matpara is described in the life of Maharaj Ambrisha. Srila Baladev Vidyabhushana, a great scholar and acharya in the line of Matpara, Vimas Matbhakti Prabhavena Sarvendriya Vijaya Purvika Swatma Drishti Sulabheti Bhava. The senses can be completely controlled only by the strength of devotional service to Krishna. Also, the example of fire is sometimes given. As a blazing fire burns everything within a room, Lord Vishnu, situated in the heart of a yogi, burns up all kinds of impurities. The
Yeah.
yogas also prescribes the meditation on Vishnu and not meditation on the void. The so-called yogis who meditate on something other than Vishnu form simply waste their time in a vain search after some phantasmagoria. We have to be Krishna conscious, devoted to the personality of Godhead. This is the aim of real yoga.
So Prabhupada is saying word matpara means become absorbed in me, my consciousness. So establish a relationship with Krishna and just work towards serving that relationship through variety of means. Then your senses will not go anywhere. So first of all, we can try to withdraw the senses from sense objects as much as possible through undesired sense objects. Then we can also try to make our intelligence and mind very acute and very sharp, very fixed through scriptures and through chanting. But then most important for sense control, Krishna is saying, is the higher taste, a superior engagement. And the superior engagement means engaging in the absolute, engaging through various means, through various senses in the service of the Lord. I will circle back to one last thing. I promised that I'll explain the example of the venomous serpent, because Prabhupada said in one line, very famous example, Prabhupada says that many times, that our senses are like venomous serpents. So let's say somebody is trying to control the snake, okay? It will be very hard to control a poisonous snake, okay? Let's say he controlled it, okay? Still, sometime it's possible that the snake can bite him. Okay, so that is what yogis are trying to do. Like Vishwamitra, this example when comes, people that are not able to resist a sense object. Shobhari Muni's example comes. Ajamil's example come. These are people given in scriptures who, when sense object came in front of them, they became distracted. Ajamil saw two people kissing or hugging or something. Shobhari saw two fish together and he became agitated. Similarly, Vishwamitra also became agitated by Menaka and Urvashi. But Haridas Thakur did not. Why? Because it's not just enough to control the snake artificially, because snake can bite. It's like a venomous snake. Senses are like venomous snake. So what do you have to do? You have to break the fangs of the snake. You have to break the teeth or the poisonous fangs of the snake. And how can you break the poisonous fangs of the snake? Through devotional service. If you just think I can control the snake, it will bite you when the time comes because it still has the poisonous fangs. So then Prabhupada says, यहाँ पे Prabhupada ने पूरा analogy clear नहीं की थी. Typically Prabhupada gives the full analogy, full example where he says that you have to break the fangs of the snake by devotional service. When you break the fangs, then even if snake does some harm, it will not be able to kill you at least. So that's why there may be some fall downs in devotees' life. You know, sometimes they get distracted a little bit here and there, but really no fall down because the fangs of the snake are broken. So it can never really bite you. It may harm you some here and there, but never bite you, never kill you. So that's the last thing I wanted to share. We have exceeded the time, so we'll stop. Next time, we will remember the verse 2.62 and 63. 62 and 63 are very important verses. We will discuss them, and that will make 10 verses for so far. So if you already want to start working on them, 2.59 you can memorize from today, and 2.62 and 63 will be the next two. I'll stop here. Thank you everyone for joining. Any questions, any realizations? Please share. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, just one thing. I just want to make sure I got this right. So to control the senses, basically there are three things we're doing, right? We can withdraw our senses and focus on mind, developing higher taste, and absorbing Krishna consciousness through discipline and devotion. Is that right? Did I got it right? Or is there something I'm
Yeah.
missing?
No, Mataji, you got it right. So one is basically you said services. When you engage in services, that is direct attack on senses. That is like breaking the fangs of the snake, you know? Because you're dulling your senses when you're engaging in service. The dulling as in you're dulling them for material things. They will become dull towards material things. So you're dulling your senses by engaging them in services. You can make your mind also more fixed by chanting. You can make your intelligence more sharp by acquiring knowledge. तो ये chariot का example हो गया है ना, intelligence, mind and senses. Control each of them individually. Sharpen the intelligence, fix the mind through chanting, and dull the senses towards material things by engaging them in service. Is that clear? This is how you target the chariot. Then also withdraw the senses. You know, withdraw the sense. Like as in okay, let's say before I used to drink, so I will try not to hang out with people that are still drinking, because it's possible that I may get distracted, right? I may want to drink again. Or meat eating, because sometimes just by the smells and things you want to enjoy those things again that you have enjoyed in the past. Old memories come back. So I would try to avoid that kind of. So withdraw your senses from such things where distractions are possible. So withdraw your senses like a tortoise. और क्या था आपने, और ये सब I think this is
Or develop higher taste?
हाँ हाँ higher taste. वो services हो गए. Yes, higher taste. Yeah. Higher taste is by giving something, some higher engagement, higher purpose to the senses. That's how you dull them. So basically, मैं ऐसे याद रखती हूँ कि there is always some do's and some don'ts. Some do's are, the chariot example is the do's: sharpen the intelligence, fix the mind through chanting, and engage the senses in service. These are the do's. ठीक है? Don'ts हो गया, withdraw them like a tortoise.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Yeah, thank you, Mataji.
हर चीज के लिए डूज एंड डोंट्स हैं, इंटेलिजेंस के लिए भी. जैसे इंटेलिजेंस फॉर एग्जांपल, डूज एंड डोंट्स क्या है? डूज इज टू शार्पन योर इंटेलिजेंस बाय स्क्रिप्चर्स, बट डोंट क्या है? डोंट लिसन टू द टू मच इंटेलिजेंस ऑफ दिस, टू मच थिंग्स ऑफ दिस वर्ल्ड, बिकॉज दे विल लाइक न्यूज, ये सब चीजें, सोशल मीडिया, ऑल दीज थिंग्स ऑफ द वर्ल्ड, ओनली कंज्यूम एज मच एज नेसेसरी. So don'ts is don't engage your intelligence in these things. So do's हमेशा, do will always refer to doing higher thing, attaching to Krishna. Don'ts will always refer to withdrawing from the world. Right? Do will refer to connecting to absolute, and don't will refer to withdrawing from, detaching from something material. Mind का भी ऐसे ही है. Do's is chanting, and don'ts is anything that distracts your mind, agitations in this world, avoid those things.
Thank
So
you, Mataji.
any other? I hope that's not. I hope that's clear. Any other reflections? Rekha Mataji, Komal Mataji, Shobit Prabhu, Pooja Mataji, want to share?
Very nice class, explained each and every aspect of the thing. And that verse has also fixed in it. Vishyavan Vartante.
Haribol. Yes.
Haribol. A very beautiful class. We learned so many things, which is higher and the basics too. So, and I really like the way you diagramming and it's telling, it's helping more and understanding that part. So it was very beautiful class and it's very good. Tali. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, please share any realizations or take-home points if anybody has. Rekha Mataji, let's hear from you. Some take-home points.
I like the way you explain the do's and the don'ts of the intelligence, mind chanting, and dulling the senses. I really like that very much.
Hmm.
And it's easy to remember the way you explain, Mataji.
And also the concept of chariot.
Yeah.
I was quite confused with this concept. Now I'm clear. Thank you.
Hmm. Okay, so we'll stop. We'll join next Sunday. We should be able to join. Tomorrow we have a program. Please join there if possible. Thank you, everyone. Vancha kaltarubhishcha kripa sindhuvevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namah. Gurve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tattvaaya namo namah. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Guru and Gauranga. Hare Krishna.